are living in an exponential world. Our life will be more and more enabled by emerging technologies and guided by innovation and digital transformation. In this scenario, we need to revise our educational approach, the contents we propose to our students, and the ways to propose them. Emerging technologies force us to think differently, to allow new didactic experiences, independent of distances. We need to be correctly prepared for the future that awaits us. A keynote speech by Massimo Canducci.
Hello to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, even if just remotely and unfortunately not in person. I would like to thank the organization for this very important event and for the kind invitation. In my opinion, we actually need more and more people who ask themselves how to build a better education, more suited to the needs of our times and more open to the needs of the students of tomorrow. I am a manager in an Italian IT company, but I am an adjunct professor too in some university, and I do know that year after year it's getting harder to raise the bar of the quality in order to have a better teaching approach and, of course, a better impact on learning. Just a few words about me. My name is Massimo Canducci. I am the Chief Innovation Officer in the largest and most important Italian IT company, the Engineering Group. We are a 12,000 people company with 40 offices around the world. We provide to the market digital platforms, innovative solutions, digital ecosystem, and a lot of very interesting technological products and services. In this context, I would like to underline that we have an internal IT academy that provides professional courses for all of our employees. In our school, we provide 25,000 man days of training per year. So I'm here today in order to share with you my thoughts about the future of learning. And we are going to follow this path composed by these 5 steps. The first one is related to the very important role of technologies in every future tech teaching and learning initiative. Technology is something that should be used in order to better teach and learn, because most of the time it is a tool and it is not the subject of teaching or learning. We will say something about that later. Then we will discover 3 different and future-oriented new ways of teaching and learning: smart education, virtual experiences, and augmented learning. The last point is about us. What should we do in order to address the future in the best way? So let's start talking about technologies. We are surrounded by technologies. Every aspect of our life, let me say, from when we get in the morning to when we go to sleep in the night, and often even when we sleep, is guided by different kind of technologies. In this slide, you can find a lot of enabling and emerging technologies. And these are more or less the technologies that the IT company use in order to provide digital platform, a digital solution, and whatever. Here you can find, for instance, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud 3D printing, robotics, virtual and augmented reality, and a lot of other interesting bricks. These are bricks that can be assembled in different ways in order to create the complete solutions. For instance, we can think about wearable technologies able to collect our vital signs in order to monitor our health and notify us or our doctor when something is wrong. Or in a totally different field, we can think about blockchain technologies able to maintain cryptocurrencies alive, or on the other hand, used to notarize information in order to check and verify the supply chain. Well, As you all know very well, these are a lot of technologies that today and tomorrow can be used in the education domain in order to create a more effective learning experience. The good news is that some of them are already available right now, and the others will be available in the future. So, using these technologies, we will be able to build a completely new learning experience. And this new learning experience can be designed and realized following these three different directions. The first one is called smart education and have something in common with the concept of smart working. Unfortunately, in the last few years, we have experienced a real disaster in schools at all levels, unfortunately. Most schools in the world reacted by proposing new teaching and learning experiences based on lessons that could be used entirely online. They activated a new teaching model based on remote education. This has been a very good reaction, able to allow students to attend the lesson even during the pandemic in total safety. However, this approach cannot be used in a long-term view because it is an emergency solution and it has a lot of problems, issues, and limitations. The main reasons is that this was not smart education. This was just remote education. Remote education is just a traditional teaching and learning experience provided online using some video conference platform. Teachers who have tried this type of experience have found that it is totally ineffective because traditional face-to-face teaching techniques work very badly when moved online. We need something more, and most important, our students need something more. The smart education experience, on the contrary, is a totally new way of thinking the teaching and learning experience. Teachers have a lot of great tools that can be used for explanations, for different level of details, for teamworks, for homeworks, and also for exams and evaluations. Unfortunately, this new approach means a radical change in people's way of teaching, and this we know can be tiring and can be boring. But of course, we have to change because the quality of teaching and learning is proportional to our commitment. The second direction we will follow in the future will be the entirely based on virtual experiences. When I say virtual, I mean a totally new way of assessing learning contents and models. Try to imagine it can be to study history by taking a virtual walk in ancient Rome, or to study science, being able to make yourself very small in a complete virtual environment and enter directly into a cell of the human body. These new teaching experiences are very different from studying on books or, when it goes well, on multimedia platform can be accessed with a personal computer. This engage makes the experience deeper. Students learn better and the lessons are much more interesting. This kind of experience can be used for every kind of education, from primary school to university. Try to imagine how engaging can be to access a virtual training session in which you learn in the field how to face a surgery, perhaps being guided by a teacher or by an expert colleague who is also connected to the same virtual world without risks, with the possibility to repeat the exercise as many times as you want, and with the ability to learn in a virtual environment very similar to the real one. In the same way, try to think about training in dangerous environments or explosive situations with temperatures that are not compatible with life, or factory environments in which it's necessary to perfectly know all the action to be performed before being able to operate in total safety. Uh, this is the same approach used, for instance, with flight simulators that aspiring airplane pilots must undergo, but with much lower costs, because it's not necessary to build an entire physical simulator, and with great possibility of application in all the fields. What is needed is only a virtual world to be used, good training sessions, and of course the ability of the teacher to make the best use of these tools. In fact, as you can imagine, the learning experience is not only related to the tools, but especially on the use made of them. The third direction we will follow in the future will be based on augmented learning. In virtual experiences, we were into a total immersive, total immersive world. And in order to access to it, we have to use a particular immersive headset. In that case, the headsets were totally immersive, and people using that kind of devices completely lost the touch with their reality. On the contrary, when we talk about augmented learning, we are describing a different experience based on augmented reality, enabled by a new generation of devices that will be released in a few years, hopefully. A new family of smart glasses. These devices will be always on and always connected with a long life battery. They will be translucent in order to introduce new contents, services, and application between our eyes and the physical reality around us. Or they will be partially immersive in order to quite separate the users from the physical reality around them. In this case, we could have some experiences quite close to what we described as virtual reality. We will manage this new class of devices using some gestures right in the front of our field, or with some voice commands, exactly the way we use today our traditional virtual assistants like Siri or Alexa or Cortana, whatever. In education field, these devices will be used in order to add something to physical reality around us, such as new contents, new services, or new applications. In example, in an operating room, this new kind of experience can be used not only to improve the quality of a surgery by providing the doctor all the data he or she needs in real time, but technology can be used in order to teach the basic of surgery to medical students, or new surgical techniques to the doctors. And of course, it can be used in order to guide the doctor step by step in his or her very difficult tasks, having in front all the data that can be useful for the success of the surgery. In the same way, this new kind of experience will be used in critical environments in order to learn how to behave while maintaining the necessary safety conditions. In this way, it will be possible to learn by simulating critical situations, which are the safe paths, for instance, the safety procedures, what to do, and especially what not to do in order to put yourself out of danger. The same technology can be used both to learn and to operate in real context. Another very interesting device for the augmented learning pattern will be represented by a new generation of virtual assistants. These devices will represent the evolution of the virtual devices that we all have inside of our smartphone today, and very often even at home. Today, among the most interesting things that can be done with these devices, there are trivial tasks like this. Turn on the kitchen lights, for instance. Actually, this is not exactly a very smart task to do, especially considering the amount of millions and millions of dollars that are invested in these technologies every year. But please try to think how these devices will be in the future. What about this kind of task? For instance, can you explain me how sales works? Can we have a conversation in French? Or can you help me with my homeworks? Today, this can be considered, let me say, not so useful tasks. But this is because today the quality of these services is not enough for our needs. So we have to wait a bit for them to become more functional and for new services to be offered in the future. So this is what we have seen today. Smart education, a totally new way of thinking the teaching and the learning activities. Virtual experiences, the use of virtual reality to teach and learn in a completely immersive way. The third one, augmented learning, the use of augmented reality in order to add information, contents, and services in front of us so we can have a new way of teaching and learning. There are three messages I want to give you today. The first one is make your educational approach smart and not just remote. This is very important. When you teach to a remote classroom, you need to totally change your approach in teaching. Exactly in the same way, students need to change their learning approach and techniques. The second is consider learning more important than teaching. The real goal is not to teach something to our students. The real goal is the way they learn. In this field, new technologies can be very useful. The last message is don't be afraid of technologies. Technologies are an extraordinary enabler for your lessons. This is a key point. Technology is a great enabler, but alone is completely useless. The way the teacher uses the technologies is the key point for having a great learning experience. And the very last message I ask you to convey to your students is that innovation is a key point for everybody's life, but people that are not building a better world actually are not innovating at all. Thanks again to all of you. My presentation has been already published on my SlideShare profile, and if you want to contact me, you can use my website. You can find my website link in the corner of every slide. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.